Hello everyone. Trust you all are doing well in these tough times. I quickly take a moment to introduce myself. I am Jinsi, coordinator at Shemford Futuristic School, Pinjore. As you all know, that Government of India has announced a new education policy 2020, which brings about several major reforms in education in India. There are multiple dimensions to this policy, and I will now be taking you through one of them. Learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. If you're talking about holistic development, it means holistic education. Holistic education is based on the idea that children can be taught in a more natural and engaging way. Rather than categorizing school subjects, the holistic approach seeks to empower children to use their academic learning as a foothold for their emotional and social development. So these are some common factors that are involved in the holistic development of children. We need to grow our children socially, emotionally, spiritually, morally, and of course, academically. Education is not the filling of the pail, but the lighting of a fire. Absolutely true. I would like to start my presentation with a simple understanding of the word education. We have actually forgotten this word. We are treating our children like empty baskets, and we are there to fill these baskets with lots of knowledge, information, ideas, and so on. To me, the meaning of education is not to fill an empty bucket or a basket, but to bring out what is there in our child. This is precisely what NEP is aiming for through the changes that now have been introduced. Now again, if you're talking about the holistic development of a child, it's very important for us to understand about educating 3 H's. What are 3 H's? Head, heart, and hands. When the hands are carrying out actions that arise in the heart and are approved by the head. So, we need to educate, train, develop the hearts of the children to create more than ever synchronized relationship between 3 H's. Let's take an example, simple example of an assignment that we gave the students of a school, where we took them through the virtual tour of different trees and their names, and then they were asked to identify similar trees in their locality and click with those pictures and share it back. How is it better than flipping the pages in a notebook? Because they get to identify the objects with their physical senses like hands, eyes, and then it registers in their head and settles down permanently in their hearts. This is how we as teachers can apply and connect theoretical knowledge with real life. If we are talking about teaching 3 H's, it means learning through experiential activities. This learning cycle involves concrete learning, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. In order to make children understand better, we need to bring education in doing things differently, both in context and content. This reminds me of an old Chinese proverb that says, "Tell me, I will forget. Show me, I might remember. Involve me, I will understand." Growth through experiential learning. Learning from both cognitive and emotional perspectives is at the heart of experiential learning. It's through active participation in a learning process that students acquire interpersonal skills, develop an understanding of the therapeutic process, and increase their self-knowledge. It has been proved that by experimenting and critical thinking, 70% of the information is registered, and if the concept is just read, only 10% of the information is registered in the minds of the children. Now, critical thinking. It's very important to find solutions to problems, both curriculum and life related. Therefore, it is necessary to teach students the art of asking 6 questions that will help them decode all the problems. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. And again, this can be done through experiential learning activities. By applying creative and critical thinking approaches to your subject areas, it will enrich and deepen learning abilities among the children. If we bring an art of critical thinking in our children, that is going to lead a growth mindset in them. Now let's take one example of a zoo tiger and a jungle tiger. Now if we talk about a zoo tiger, 24/7 inside a cage, confined, restricted, no freedom, easy life. Everyday meal is delivered, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and so on. So his actions or whatever he needs to do or is taught to him or he is trained on or is already predetermined. So it is fixed. There's no growth. So there's no imagination, which leads to fixed mindset of a zoo tiger. On the other hand, let's see the life of a jungle tiger, whose life is way more difficult. Why? Because he has to earn on its own, hunt, protect itself, so is living a hard life. His mind is not restricted, that leads to the growth mindset. Now, what would happen if we put a zoo tiger into wild? Probably we will have a dead zoo tiger because of no skills developed in him. Now, what do we learn from this? They both were tigers with similar tools. Their ability to learn skills they developed had nothing to do with their tools, but the way they were trained. Same goes with the children. If they want to be in their comfort zone, there will be no struggle, no mistakes. That will lead to the fixed mindset, and they will not grow. So unlike tigers, children have a choice. They can choose the way they approach the life of learning. Do they want to choose zoo life or a wild life? Positive mindset, a very simple way to understand. Belief is to action, action is to growth. Belief, this is what we think about learning a new skill. I think I can. I will. That is a belief. And then practice. Working hard on that skill. That is an action. Then when we see the progress or when we get better, that is the growth. So if there will be no belief, means there is a fixed mindset that I can't, I won't, I will not be able to. Then there will be no action and of course no growth at all. So we as teachers need to create a belief among the children that they can, they have the ability, then only it will lead to a positive growth mindset among the children. So if teacher can change the belief, they can change the whole system. Nurturing a growth mindset. It's not about change their words, change their mindset. It's about how we as teachers change our words so that we can change students' mindset. And that too, a positive growth mindset. Like if children say, mistakes help me learn, I can always improve, I will learn how to do this, this may take time to learn. All these things, that means they have a positive growth mindset. On an ending note, let's all appraise the true essence of education in our society. The aim of education will not only be cognitive development but also building character and creating holistic and well-rounded individuals. Ultimately, knowledge is a deep-seated treasure and education helps in its manifestation as the perfection which is already within an individual. Education is more than schooling. It is the biggest gift one can give to our future generation. So let's all introspect on how we can fulfill this role. Thank you all. Best of luck and take care.